Hello there, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a cute little stamp that I am using from the caffeinated line of the Rabbit Hole Designs, and they just released a bunch of new caffeinated critters. I am using one that was previously released, but just as cute. So I will have her linked down below, along with a link to the store where all the caffeinated critters are, because you're going to want to go take a look. They're so stinking cute. I have this little narwhal. This is the Caffeinated Narwhal. I've got it in my mini Misti, and I'm inking it up with Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I'm stamping that down onto some Express It cardstock. I plan to do some alcohol marker coloring because, I don't know, this one just really grabbed my heart for some reason. I don't know why. They all do, but this one especially was just so darn cute. And I'm going to pull out my Arteza EverBlend markers. I have the set of 60, but I'm also pulling out the Arteza 36 gray tones. So there are two separate sets. Well, there's actually several sets. There's the set of 60, which is just various colors. The set of 120, which is all of their colors, except a few of their skin tones line and their gray tones. And then they also have the skin tones and they have the grays. And so I'm pulling out the grays. I'm putting the colors up on the screen when I can remember to do that. And I'm just going to go back and forth with a few colors. So I'm trying to stick with one particular line. I believe it was the 461. I'll put it back up on the screen here in a second. But I started off with the 641, and then I'm coming in with 642. And they definitely look a lot darker when you are first starting. I've said this before, I always go lightest to darkest. I find that is the best way for me to be able to blend. By doing so, I'm able to put down just a base of color. And then that, believe it or not, it kind of wets the paper a little bit. And so when you go to put down your next layer of color, it kind of blends into that just a little bit already, so that when you go to blend that out again, you are able to kind of pull that color a little bit more. So that's why if you've ever colored, like let's say you've colored and you're not done with what you're coloring, but you walk away and you come back later, it's a little bit hard to blend those colors out because everything's now dry. So if you kind of touch your paper lightly, you'll be able to tell that paper is a little bit damp. Not like damp, but it definitely is a little bit moist, I suppose is the word you could use. And so that's why my husband knows that if I'm coloring, I'm not gonna be able to come to him until I'm done, because I can't come back. It's not gonna blend as easily. So, all right, I'm coming back in now with the 643 is my darkest gray tone here that I'm using, and I feel like these are a little bit more of the warm grays in the set. Oh, well, it's a set of 36, so there's a ton of gray in there, and it's fabulous. And so I'm just blending some of those out, and in the end I'm pretty happy with how those blended. So then I'm going to move on to coloring her little curlers. At first I thought I would color the hair, but then I thought, no, I'm going to go ahead and color the curlers first. So I'm using the two pinks that I have, or two of the pinks that I have from my set of 60. And I'm just going all over those curlers to start, and then I'll go in with the darker one just to add a little bit of shading to the ends of the curlers, and then I'm going to go back in once again with that darkest gray that I had and just kind of scribble over the hair. Not that a narwhal has hair, but I don't think they drink caffeine either. Coloring my coffee, that's with 2492, and then I'm going to go in and color my coffee cup with 5959 as my base, and then a darker green. And you'll notice I don't ever really typically go to the edges. This gives the illusion that things are rounded, that they're a little bit more 3D. At least, it will fool the eye a little bit. And then I'll go back in with my lighter color once again and blend that out. And now I'm going to use the matching die. I know I don't always get matching dies with things, but I just had to. I mean, it's a inexpensive enough stamp set. You can just go ahead and snag the die as well. And then I'll just tape that in place with some washi tape and run that through my die cutting machine. And there she is in all her beautiful glory. Now I'm going to work on my background. So this is the Rabbit Hole Designs Candy Twist stencil. And I'm going to use some pixie spray on the back of that because I want this to stick to my paper. And my paper is the Arteza Expert Watercolor paper. I want to do some blending on it. I thought I was going to spritz some water, which is why I grabbed watercolor paper, but I end up not spritzing any water. These are my VIVACE Beauty brushes. Super cheap brushes. I know that a lot of companies come out with some brushes. I haven't taken the plunge on any of those yet, but these are working for now, so I'm happy. I'm using some Spun Sugar Distress Oxide ink. I thought I'd put a nice base of that. Not all over the cardstock. I want that to fade out. It's a little darker, more on the lower right-hand side, and then I just kind of fade it out all over. And then I'm going to use the tiniest little brush, and I'm going just over the center of those little candy swirls. And it's going to look kind of cool once I pull everything off. But I'm just doing that all over the swirls that just have some of that spun sugar on it. And this is worn lipstick. I'm not sure. I don't remember if I actually told you that. But it's worn lipstick. And then I'm going to go back over everything again just to blend that out even more with one of the bigger brushes. And then I'll clean those off and put those away. I'm going to use this glitter duster. I have never used it before. I just have some rock candy glitter in it. And I'm going to try something. So I'm going to take my pixie spray, since it's low tack, and spray that all over before I remove my stencil. And then I'm going to take the glitter duster and spritz it all over. It gives a very light dusting, which is why it's called a glitter duster, of glitter. And that's how it looks. So this, like I said, I used the pixie spray, so it's low tack. So I don't know if that's going to stay or not. This is an experiment. So I suppose if you see me do it again, you'll know it worked. If you don't, I guess it didn't work. My card base is just some mint green cardstock that I had in my stash, and I've cut that down to 4¼ or I guess it was, 4¼ by 11 inches and scored at 5½ inches. And now I'm going to trim down my paper panel, because originally that was 4¼ by 5½ inches. So I cut that down to 4 inches by 5¼ so that it will leave a nice little mint green border around it when I put it on my card base. For my sentiment, I grabbed some dark gray cardstock from my stash, and I'm just going to use my magic powder bag over that. And then I'm going to get ready to ink that up with some Versamark ink, which is just a clear sticky ink. I'll stamp that down along with the other sentiment that just says #Stabby. And I'm going to be honest, it was the Narwhal, and the fact that it said #Stabby is the reason I had to have this set. I asked my kids, I'm like, I'm feeling stabby today. I obviously never go so far, but you know, it's a way of letting people know I'm not in the mood. All right, I used some alabaster embossing powder over the top of that, and now I'm heat setting that till that is smooth and melted. And then I'm going to start assembling everything. So I'm just using some liquid glue to adhere down my card panel to my card base. And you know, you are going to get a little glitter on your hands. So far, you know, most of that glitter has stayed on there so far. But yeah, I'm assuming some of it's going to come off. I mean, you're messing with glitter, folks. So if you're messing with glitter, you're going to have glitter places. I'll peel off all the backing paper, because I did put some foam tape on the back of my little narwhal and on both of my sentiments after I cut those down. And I'll stick those down to the top, trying to make sure that that's centered, or not centered, but at least straight as possible. And then I'll stick the little #Stabby right underneath her bum. And I'm not done there. I'm going to stamp on the inside. I'll take my little narwhal and I am going to ink her up with some Evergreen Bough Distress Oxide ink. These are good for stamping. Not like the just regular distress inks. Those are not formulated for stamping. And then that's going to finish off this card. So if you liked this video, please hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I usually have about 4 videos a week, so I would love it if you kept coming by. And thank you guys so much for all the love and support you give, and for using affiliate links and all that jazz. And as always, thanks so much for stopping by.